We use a lot of slang from texting in our signing now. I noticed that. LOL.
Yes. Yeah, the language has changed so much. It's changed so much over, the past couple of decades. And I think it's changed even more with technology because you're able to talk to people in other countries and then you're incorporating their signs, of their country or their culture or their traditions and things. So I think that has definitely impacted it. We still have, every country has their own language, but I think it's almost becoming more of a global signing because you're incorporating signs from other countries for things that you don't know, that we have here because we have so much diversity in America, but we're bringing in the signs from those countries for the things that have to do with those different cultures.
Yes. And I think more people are interested in it. Like, there's been a big push where deafness is no longer a disability. Yes. It's not perceived as a disability like before. It's like before you would hear, these horror stories about families finding out that child was deaf, they didn't want the child. Horrible. But I'm seeing like nurses who are now being able to sign their name.
Right.
And nurses that saying being able to sign simple sentences where before they're like, we're just going to leave the deaf person in the room and we're going to go do our business and we're not going to
we'll come back.
We're not going to engage unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Or there's more willingness to get an interpreter. It's still a battle. I'm not saying the war is won. It's far from won.
No.
It is far from won. But there is more of an
understanding there's a need for communication.
Yes.
And I think part of that too is we are becoming such a diverse population that it's now people can understand that deaf people are their own culture. They're their own group and they have a way to communicate. And if you want to communicate with someone who's Arabic or Spanish or Macedonian, you have to learn that language or get an interpreter, right? You have to find a way. And I think now it's more acceptable and in people's own minds that they have to find a way. They have to find a way to communicate that is fair and equal for that deaf person who uses sign language as their primary mode of communication. And I think that's because of everything you see on TV.
Yes.
Even in the movies, right?
Coda.
Oh, I love that movie. And even you see now on the red carpet that actors and actresses are bringing interpreters with them so that they can be fully understood. What I would like to see for the future of ASL would be maybe more teaching about it in school, right? Because we learn about all of these other cultures in school, but deaf culture is really such a big part of American society. There are a ton of deaf people, and anytime you talk to somebody, they're always like, "Oh, you're an interpreter? Oh, I knew a deaf person." Like that story always comes up. It would be great if it was more mainstream and not just if you're going to have a deaf child in the classroom, we're going to teach about this or that. It would be nice if it was part of a curriculum because it's a culture here in America. It's not a disability group. It's not a language we have to use because that's the only way that they can figure something out. It's a group of people, their own culture, their own traditions, their own language, and we should learn it that way. I've always said that effective communication is a right, not a privilege. And if we started teaching about it to everyone, it would be, I believe, less difficult to get people to do what they are supposed to do, which is provide effective communication. Get that interpreter, use the technology available to communicate, and, not just say, find out later, figure it out later.
We've come so far, and I'm not, I'm trying not to say, that doesn't matter. It matters so much, but we still have so far to go.